Hi there, you're watching 5 Steps to Promote Your Independent Music During Grammy Voting Season. My name is Christy Crowell, and I am the founder of Pro Music DB. I'm also an independent musician. And I put together this video because this week several people a day have been asking me, Christy, how do I promote legally during Grammy voting season? I think there's a lot of anxiety over independent musicians pushing too much. So I've put together these 5 steps to promote your music online, hopefully to Grammy voters, that won't bombard. Certainly it isn't the end-all be-all, but this will give you 5 steps if you've never done this before, if you're new to promoting yourself, if you feel uncomfortable promoting yourself. At least you'll have a 5-step strategy to get some word out about you, and who knows, it might bring you some votes. So here we go. Step 1. First, upload all your tracks to a public page that you can send traffic to. So if the goal is to get people to listen to your music for votes, then you need to upload all that music to a public source where they can follow a link that you post and just listen to all your music. Now, if you post on Spotify or a subscription service, just beware that not everybody has those services and may prefer to listen in another way. So I use SoundCloud, but you could certainly use YouTube, or there's other sources out there, but I've primarily seen SoundCloud as the way to share. So you upload your tracks. For me, I uploaded the tracks onto SoundCloud and made a playlist, and then I made that playlist public, and that's the link that I use. So you'll see this link here. If you wanted to look it up, you would see that it's public and you can listen to all 12 tracks on the CD. So step 2, you want to generate posts and articles on social media and link to where they can listen. That's kind of obvious. So I'll show you what I did. Now, I don't just post, for your consideration, here's my music and vote for me. I put a little bit of the story in, and you can't see the whole thing here, but basically this album, I did a tribute album to Chip Davis and Mannheim Steamroller, actually a band that I'm a part of on the tour. I'm the conductor and keyboard player. So, however, I didn't tour last year, and I recorded this album instead. So I gave a little story about that, saying when I was recording this, I didn't know that this year I would be going on tour in a couple weeks. But I went into a little bit of the story, so you might want to consider doing that to give your readers on social media a little more meat than just, here's my music, vote for me. Or if you know someone, tell them to vote for me type of thing. You also want to make sure that all your posts include all the pertinent info regarding your category and your entry number. Now, I say this because in many of the Grammy categories, you have entries in the hundreds, and the songs are either listed by composer or songwriter or by title. So it's kind of hard to find a song sometimes, or you sometimes, if it's not clear how people can vote for you and where you are. So what I did is I made a snapshot when I was voting so that people could actually see what category and what number entry I was. So here I'm under category number 11, which is Best Contemporary Instrumental Album, and my entry number is 45. So that makes it really easy. If there are no other entries in that category that they have considered or listened to, they know how to get to my entry really quickly when they're voting, because it is overwhelming. Like I said, there are categories with hundreds of entries in them right now in the first round. So step 3, create a one sheet that has your embedded link to email to your music business contacts. Now, you may not have many music business contacts that are in the Recording Academy or members of the Recording Academy, and that's okay. This is just a strategy. If you know who are your contacts who are voting members, then I would send it to them. I wouldn't make this a blanket email, hey, check out my music, I'm on the Grammy ballot. That kind of, to me, overburdens a lot of people, and like I said, I've already received a couple per day, and I don't know people personally, and they're not sure. Their emails read, "I'm not sure if you're a NARAS member or not, but if you are, check out my music." And I think that's kind of a wasted opportunity, because I think you want to save those opportunities for people to buy or to stream if you don't know for sure that they're in NARAS. So take that under consideration. So the one sheet should have a 150 to 200 word blurb, your artwork, and your listen link. So I'll show you what mine looks like here. So this is the one sheet. Actually, I had a designer make this for me. It has a nice design up at the top, a picture of me. It has a little blurb that I came up with that describes me and what I want people to do and consider. And then you can't see it here, but this listen here button actually is embedded in the PDF to go to my SoundCloud page or playlist. That's a redundant one. So, and here's the blurb kind of up close so you can read what that is. It's just 150 to 200 words just describing the album, maybe picking out a particular track. For me, I submitted an album, and I know that there are just song categories for one individual song, and then I would just talk about the specific song. But I know that, say, for instance, Carol of the Bells, Deck the Halls, and Silent Night are 3 of the most requested songs for Mannheim. So I offered that in this blurb as a point of listening for people who are familiar with the band already. So step 4, I would create social media content that talks about your album or helps others through the process. So if you are paying attention, that's kind of what I'm doing right now, hoping to help others through this process, because more and more independent musicians are going to be jumping into submitting music. And I think that it's music worthy of listening to and worthy of Grammy awards more and more. However, we don't have the marketing machine behind us, that an exposure machine behind us that a lot of signed artists do. So I want to help my community and bring us all more exposure and hopefully lift us all up. So that's why I'm doing this video, and I encourage you to do something similar or share this video. A previous video that I did, if you haven't checked it out, is how to submit your music for a Grammy, and I'll put the link to that in the comments section or the description section, wherever this ends up that you're viewing it. If you want to check that out too for next year, if you haven't submitted ever before to the Grammys, so you know what you're walking into. And now this is just a second process into here's what the ballots look like. Step 5, I would say support other indie musicians' efforts and just keep repeating this process over and over. Now, obviously, you can add a lot more to these 5 steps. You can start collecting emails if you like. There are people who like your music. You could have a link on your SoundCloud page in the description to a personal website where maybe you can collect emails. And then if you'd like people to purchase your album coming up, you could maybe email them about that. So there's all ways you can adjust to this, but this just gives you a framework to start if you've never thought about it before, that I believe falls under the Grammy promotion rules, but also makes it very specific what you're doing and kind of lifts the community up. If you like what I did today, or if you're curious about my particular entry on the Grammy ballot, it's called Christmas at the Piano, a tribute to the music of Chip Davis and Mannheim Steamroller. So here's a little blurb about it, just saying that I'm now the conductor and keyboardist of the band, and I'll be on tour starting in a couple weeks, so you can check us out on tour. And if you were so inclined to vote after you listened, then you would find me under Best Contemporary Instrumental Album, Category 11, and entry number 45. And here's my SoundCloud link, so you can check it out on your own. You can still pause and copy this down if you're so inclined. I'll also probably put this in the description somewhere. And if you want to follow me, Christy Crowell Official on Facebook. Also check out ProMusicDB, the Professional Music Credits Database and Archive. If you are a professional musician, we'd love you have you be part of that community as well. And share this video if this helped you out or you think might help a friend out who's a musician or on the ballot this year. Let's all work together, and maybe we'll see each other at the Grammys. So ciao for now. Have a great night and a very successful Grammy season. Bye-bye.